All right, right now in your journal, you you need to write down point slope form. And right next to where you've written down point slope form, you need to write this. This is point slope form. Point slope form has the m value, which is going to be your slope, and it also has an x1 and a y1 value known as an ordered pair. Now, the ordered pair is considered to be not the slope, it's considered to be a point. So the point is the ordered pair, the slope is the m value. So in point slope form, the point is that x1, y1, that's the point. The slope, that's your m value in point slope form. So let's review all the different forms that we should already know. Now you should know two forms specifically, all right? So what's the form that everybody should know? Slope intercept. So these are the forms that you should know. Slope intercept form. Slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So everybody should know slope intercept form. The next form that everybody should know should be standard form. Okay? So standard form, everybody, is ax plus by equals c. So slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. And now the new form that we're going to be talking about is what's called point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So we have three different forms: slope intercept, standard form, point slope form. All three of these forms will be on your end of the year, end of course exam. So you got to be able to recognize which form that linear function has to be in. These are all lines. They all create lines. What is something we all know? We all know what the m value is. That's the slope. Well, guess what? The m value in this one is still slope. Okay? The only difference is, what does this represent? What is the b value? That's the y-intercept, right? Well, over here, it's supposed to be y-intercept. Over here, you don't have a y-intercept. You have what's called an ordered pair. All right? So right now, what I'd like us to do is we're going to show you guys how to use point slope form. So you guys have some ordered pairs. You guys see those ordered pairs right there? I need you guys to make a little table right now. Just make a table right now in your journal. Make a table. There's your x1. There's your y1. We're going to use Desmos, okay? Your first ordered pair is a -5 and a 4. The next ordered pair is a 1 and a 6. So please write the ordered pairs right there. Does everybody see, in this particular problem, does everybody see this y minus 6 right here? That y minus 6 lets us know that we are going to be using these two. This is the ordered pair that we're going to be using. So what I'd like you guys to do in your journals is carefully just copy down exactly what I'm writing. Underneath this, what I would like you to do is I would like you to put empty boxes. We're going to fill in the blank, okay? This is going to be the strategy I want you guys to use when you're solving these problems. If you do the strategy, you should be able to get 100% on all of these with relative ease. Okay. Now, after you guys make this is your point slope form. What number did they plug in right here for this problem? What number did they use? Ah, very good. So they put a 6. So they did y minus 6. So you're using that y value. What's the x value that corresponds with it? So right here, you're going to put in a 1. So right now, I'm just plugging in a 1. So what's the only thing that we need to finish our problem? The slope. Now, here's how you would do it by hand, okay? We find what's called the change in y over the change in x. That little delta, guys, that little delta means change in. So does this go up or down from 4 to 6? Goes up 2. Ooh, from a negative 5 to a positive 1, that goes up 6. So what would be my slope if I said my slope is the change in the y over the change in the x? 2 over 6, you're right. Yeah, so what is our slope? Our slope is, so right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/3. Okay, so what will my final answer be like in this box? You guys see how it has y minus 6? So I'm going to put it right here. So here's what I'm going to type in the box. I'm going to put a 1/3. I'm going to open up a parentheses. I'm going to put x minus 1, and I'm going to close it. So I'm going to just type in this part for the Khan Academy. Now, let's say you're like, I am not comfortable with the by hand method. Like this is going to be so hard for me. So can you guys please go to Desmos and just follow along? All right, so let's go to Desmos real quick. So I'm going to type in, I got to go to my Desmos test mode. I'm going to make a table. So we're going to make a table. And does everybody have the ordered pairs already? The ordered pairs are what? -5 and 4 and 1 and 6. So I'm going to type in -5 and 4 and 1 and 6. Then I type in the phrase that pays. Can you guys see how it goes up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, just by visualizing it maybe? Up 1 over 3. Okay. y1 tilde mx1 plus b. Now, does everybody see the fraction that happens right there? Do you see that? Now, that doesn't give us the fraction. So what we have to do is we have to type in 0.333, and we got to keep going until we see this pop up, and then it converts it to our, yeah, the 1/3. So that allows me to go over here and simply type in, there's my little fraction. I type in a 1, I type in a 3, I go over here, I put in x minus 1, and I'm done. Okay? So I'm not expecting you guys to get everything on the very first one. All right? So we're going to do one more and see. We're just going to start fresh and see if you guys understand what I'm asking you to do. All right? So here we go. Next one I'd like you to do right now is in your journal. We're going to do this a lot faster. I want you to write down that ordered pair, and I want you to write this down right here. So write down that ordered pair and write this down right here, and then we'll do this a lot faster, and hopefully you'll understand. All right, so step number 1, very first thing that I always do, I write down y1, my bad, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay? In the Khan Academy, it tells me I'm starting out with what? Y minus what number? Y minus 8. So let's take a look at our ordered pair here. All right, I'll make a little ordered pair, make a little table, x1, y1. We have an 8 and a -8, and then we have a 9 and a +8. Now, this says y minus y1. So what is it saying my y1 value is? It's saying it's an 8. So what's the x value that I'm going to have to use? 9. Okay? Now, be careful. Sometimes you'll see this, guys. You'll see y minus a -8 in the Khan Academy. If you see that, you wouldn't use this ordered pair. You would use that ordered pair. So you just be careful of which ordered pair you're going to use. This is where students will make a mistake. Oops, sorry. There we go. So we have equals. I'm going to put an empty box, open parentheses, x minus my x1 value, which happens to be a 9. There we go. So after I've done that, what's the only thing I have to do now? Just find the what? Find the slope. What's happened from a -8 to a +8? That goes up by 16. What happens from an 8 to a 9? It goes up 1. What's the change in my y over the change in my x? What would you guys say? 16 over 1, which is just what number? Okay. Now, if you don't want to do that by hand, that's okay. Could you use Desmos? Sure. Now, once you use Desmos, it makes it really easy because once you go back over here, now I already have the phrase that pays. I just got to do what? Take this out and put in a, what was it, a -8 and an 8? Oh, is it 8 and a -8? 8 and a -8, not an equal. All right, and then 9 and 8. Okay. Can everybody see right here the new slope? You see the 16? Perfect. So now we take that number and we put it right there. So what's going to be the answer that I'm going to write in right here? I'll kind of write it in. Ready? I'd put a 16. I'd open up the parentheses and I do what? X minus 9, and I close it. And that's what I'm going to type in. What's the whole answer? If you had to type in the whole answer, y minus 8, parentheses, x minus 9. That's how you would write the whole thing in point slope form. But right now, literally, all you got to do is just find the slope, and then you got to figure out which ordered pair to use within the formula. All right, so I'll just type it in one more time. Then you guys are welcome to start on your own. I'm doing one more problem for those people who just need one more problem. All right, feel free to begin. I'm doing one more problem. You do not have to listen to me. All right, here's the last problem that I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little table. I'll call it my x1, y1. I got a -8 and a -8. So I got a -8 and a -8, and then I got a -7 and a 9. So I'm going to write down my formula. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Now the Khan Academy starts out with y minus 9. So I'm going to start with y minus 9. Then I'm going to put an empty box right here. X minus, now look what they did. They chose a 9. Oh, look at this one. What's my corresponding x value that I'm going to have to use on this one? I'm going to have to use a -7. This is where students will make a mistake. Because literally, what do I have to plug in here? I got to plug in a -7. But when you got two negatives next to each other, what happens? They become a +7. This is where students will mess up. And like, what? How did I mess up? Because a negative times a negative equals a positive. Okay? So now all I got to do is just find my slope. If I go from -8 all the way up to a 9, that means I add 17. Okay? So I went from -8, I add 17, I'm up to a 9. If I go from a -8 to a -7, I've added 1. So my slope for this one, change in y over change in x. If I put the change in y over the change in x, which is my slope, that's my m value, that's 17 over 1, which is just a 17. So this is what I'm going to type into the Khan Academy. Y minus 9, I'm going to type in a 17. And I'm going to put x plus 7. Now, if you're using Desmos, you got to make sure you use the correct order pair. So I got -8, -8, -7, 9. So I got to go over here. I got to make -8, -8, and then -7 and a 9, and you can clearly see that my slope is 17. And so now I know my slope is 17. I feel good about that. But here, if I plug in a -7, I got to make it an x key thing plus a 7. If I put -7, I'm going to get it wrong. So make sure if you plug in a negative, make sure it cancels out to a positive. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay? So if you mess up, click see step-by-step solution. All right? Right there, you can see how they plugged in that -7, which makes it a +7. Okay? And that's it.